Welcome, everybody, to the KQ Show, episode 21, Instructional Guide for Your Listening Pleasure. Season 2 Kickoff. For those new to the show, hi, I'm Kyle. I'm a pretty normal guy. I collect used stamps from my neighbor's mailbox, and I hot glue gemstones to my jean shorts. As a young lad, I had what my parents would call the gift of gab. I love conversations, interesting people, and most of all, just having fun. I'll be chatting with business owners, athletes, three-handed jugglers, and sauce on the side. Today's episode kicks off Season 2. Episode 21, I sit down with Terrance Whitfield, my friend of over 7 years, philanthropist, entrepreneur, and avid shoe collector. We chat shoes, sports, family, uncomfortable situations, and, of course, his dire love for Lebron James. Enjoy the show. That's some Arby's roast beef right there. It's a 2 for
God,
11.
beef.
Welcome, everyone, to the KQ Show Season 2. It's happening. We're live. It's going down. The award-winning, number 1 rated by me, comedy podcast in Michiana. We are here today, our special guest for Season 2, Episode 1, Terrance Sweet T. Whitfield. What's going on, man?
What's cracking, bro?
It's been a long time coming, man.
Man, tell me about it, man. You out here making dreams come true, man. Motivating, and lifting up spirits, bro.
Hey, I'm trying. So first thing, I always talk about what, I always have guests on. I always ask, hey, what are we drinking today? So
this is gonna be interesting for Kyle. Yeah.
Hey, I'm all about it. So Terrance is drinking the coconut water and Fiji water. So I'm having 14-year-old whiskey myself.
Yeah. Ain't nothing wrong with that, bro. I'm over here sipping on this Vita Coco. The Vita coconut. It ain't no milk, but it is what it is. And no, I don't want any milk because I ain't trying to clear out your house right now.
No. See, so coconut water is funny, man. Like I started drinking it. It's good as shit. It does. I feel like it does. It's refreshing and everything else. But right when something's good, they jack the price up on it. Like you can't find these things for less than like $5 or $6 for like 20 ounces of damn coconut water.
Yeah, It tastes nice. I've drinking coconut water before. Normally I use it in like smoothies and stuff like that, like with some kale or spinach or something like that. But this one right here, it tastes pretty good. It's pretty refreshing. Yeah. And I will tell you, years ago when they first came out with coconut water, I would be like, wonder if it's gonna be like sweet, like if it's gonna be like white looking, but until you actually crack open a real coconut, there's water in it.
Yeah, it was a weird concept, but I mean, I dig it, So man, obviously we got a lot of stuff I'd like to talk about. First off, we got a lot of topics. We got to talk about LeBron beating that scoring record. We'll get to.
Oh yeah.
But also we got to talk. We got to talk sports. We got to talk football. We got to talk Justin Fields. But first, we want to talk the shoe game. So you were obviously one of the biggest shoe collectors that I know. And it's becoming such a huge thing. Like, I mean, everybody, everywhere, shoe game is where it's at, from even seeing Converse come back to seeing Kanye possibly getting back into the Yeezy game. So we've got a lot to discuss. But I just want to start because obviously, you have a ton of shoes. You have special collector shoes. What got you started in your shoe game? What was like day one where you're like, this is what I want to do?
I would say, well, first off, before I get started, before I get too far ahead, I want to give a shout out real quick to my wife, Shawanda, because without her, this wouldn't be possible today. She's my refreshing light, every morning I wake up. And I'm able to see my queen sitting next to me. It's a pleasure and it's a joy, and everything that I do from this day going forward, as is in the past, is just to make sure our future is secured and her future is secured as well. So I just want to shout that out. Love you, baby. Hopefully I don't embarrass you too much today, but you know how I roll. You know, all the gloves come off. So
You pulled a anti-surge. Surge like, okay, I forgot to say hi to my wife and my kids. So you're getting that out the way right away.
Let me tell you something, bro. I've listened. I ain't gonna say watch. I've listened to your podcast. I've probably listened to them 3 or 4 different times because I'm proud of you for taking a step out there, and whether you know it or not, it's been a motivating factor for me for some of the things that I have going forward in the future. But yeah,
appreciate that.
So,
appreciate that, man.
You did just state to me what started me with shoes. Let's say 85, 86, 87. I was a little kid. I mean, I've always come from humble beginnings. We didn't have a lot, so I knew as a little kid, I was never gonna be able to be like, hey mom, can you go buy those Jordans? They only $95. I mean, they were cheap back then compared to now. I would say it took me having my own paper route. Once I started making my own money, I was able to buy my first pair of Jordans. I want to say my first pair of Jordans that I bought was I still to this day, I call them the whales. They were the Jordan 13s. They were the white and black.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason why those kind of stick out and they're very close and dear to me is because I'm flat-footed. And so that was the first pair of shoes that I actually bought and paid for. I think I paid maybe $130, $140 for them. And before I even put my foot in them, the first day, I had dropped them off at the orthotics doctor and
Nice.
had them custom moldings for them. So when I'm wearing them and walking in them, my feet wouldn't hurt and be as tired in them and everything. So yeah, that's what started it for me. Took a little bit of a break, got married, and then I want to say 2013, my wife brought up to me one time, was like, hey, you don't ever buy anything for yourself. You know, you're always doing and giving to other people and all this other stuff. And won't you, buy yourself something? And so I will say that's what started the itch back up.
Gotcha.
And now I don't call myself like a shoe collector like some of these cats I see out there today. Like there's a guy out there called Sky. Then there's a YouTuber that I follow. His name's Unbreakable Kicks. He's out of Chicago. He has a huge shoe collection. Yeah, so like I'm not a collector of that sense because I consider myself an exclusive and a separate breed. Because if you know me and if you've seen me, you know I don't have normal feet. So it's not like I could just walk into Foot Locker or Champs or Dick's, because Dick's now is an exclusive Jordan. They sell Jordans there now too, but they don't go up to my size. So
I mean, what size?
yeah, I wear a size 17, 16. 16s and ones, 4s, 6s, and 5s. And then normally in 11s, I wear 16. Then 17 and all other shoes, because some of the shoes normally run a little bigger.
Yeah, the ones are a little smaller for me too. I can get to 13 with the ones. I like them.
Yeah. They it's one of those creature comforts. Ones are not like my go-to. I've kind of come around to them. There's been a couple drops over the past couple years that I copped a few pairs of them. I mean, you can actually find different color ones like regularly on different websites. I will be upfront and honest with you guys, or with you today, Kyle. I'm not going to be revealing secrets on sites where I go buy shoes because it's already a hard enough struggle for me to get shoes now. Because normally, now in the shoe game, because of the resale market, because there's so few pairs of them, most resellers go buy bigger sizes first. So, like, for instance, whenever this airs, there's a shoe that would have already been released. It's the Jordan 5 UNC. Those shoes, they dropped 197,000 pairs. Out of the 197,000 pairs, size 16 had 289 pairs.
Damn.
And size 17 had 292 or 93.
Damn.
So you got to imagine I'm competing with millions of people, and there's a market in my shoe size that there's maybe a total of maybe 600 pairs of shoes. Where if I wore a 15, there was over 1,000 pairs of shoes. So
yeah,
it's one of those things. I would say it's become progressively harder to cop exclusive shoes. But I'm real leery about buying stuff on StockX, Goat, because a lot of times you can end up buying fakes, and now StockX doesn't even stop fake shoes from coming through.
I thought there was because I had to stop. I have what they call a shoe addiction as well. Except my problem is I've been buying the same size shoe since I was like 14, size 13.
Yeah.
2 years ago, my foot just got bigger. So then I'm like, well, shit, I can't even fit any of my 13s. They're uncomfortable. So I thought. So I got two questions for you. Okay. First of all, I thought StockX was the way to go. I thought it was always authenticating. So is it just bullshit then? Like they'll slap that little clamp on there with the little plastic and say that it's authenticated, but do they not look in deep enough or what?
So if there's two ways to answer that. There are some people that live by the rule of thumb. If the shoe looks like the shoe that I want, I mean, who cares if it's fake or real? And then you have some people like myself that, like, I'll give you an example. Jordan 1. Jordan 1 low top, mids, or highs. Normally there's a stitching or threading that goes around the bottom of the sole. There are most of the fake Jordan 1s, if you look at the heel of the shoe, it'll look like it's stitching there, but there's nothing there. It's just a blank spot. But if you keep looking around the shoe, you'll see where the threading picks back up. Traditionally, those shoes across the board are considered to be fake. Now, there are some misstitching that happens at Nike. But a lot of shoes like that traditionally should get flagged by whoever's authenticating the shoe. But that's one of those things where if I showed you the shoe, you'd be like, oh, it looks like an authentic pair. But then if I actually zoom in and drill down on it, then you'll be like, oh, okay, that's what that is. But if you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know, because at the end of the day, I'm also going to tell you this. Who's going to be looking at the heel of your shoe while you're wearing them telling you that they're fake? So it's up to the user, the person that's buying the shoe, what they're willing to accept or what they're willing to deal with. Now, I've had to send a couple pair of shoes back to StockX because I know the type of stitching that should be being used. I know how the sole should be lined inside of the shoe, and different things like that. Like, one thing I'll kind of warn people on, right now, those Jordan 5s, UNCs that I was just speaking about, if you see those shoes for sale anywhere in grade school sizes, I would be very, very, very leery of that, because this release was just a general men's release. So it's
Okay, I
no
got you.
women's sizes or grade school or big kids or anything like that.
I got you. So second part of my question. We've had this conversation, okay? So the fucking bots.
Yeah.
So I feel like they're ruining a lot of markets for buying anything. I mean, kind of explain to me how bots. I mean, do you feel like they're ruining the shoe market? And I mean, do you feel like there's ever going to be a stop to it? And kind of what is a bot? I mean, kind of.
So, to answer the back end of that question, they're never gonna stop bots. And there's a reason for that. So bots drive up demand of a shoe. So like if you release 197,000 shoes and bots got a hold of 100,000 of them, you think Nike's gonna say, "No, we don't want that money. We're gonna send those people that got the bots back their money, and we're gonna try to re-release this." No, they're not gonna do that. They're gonna collect their money. I think some of the things that they're doing now, it makes it a little tricky. So like I'll give you an example. Some websites, if you're on Wi-Fi, like your home Wi-Fi, and you're trying to buy shoes, your IP address in some situations can put you in the back of the line as far as it doesn't get picked. I've seen where if you have a VPN on your phone and if you're in a certain market, you can kind of manipulate the purchase of a shoe and still get it shipped to you. So like sometimes there may be exclusive drops like out in California where they may have a shoe in my size. I have a VPN on my phone. It's saying I'm in San Diego. You know, I'm able to purchase those shoes.
Oh, okay.
It's bots aren't going to go anywhere. I just think at the end of the day, bots makes, because the resale game is so ridiculous right now. Like it's, you know, if you think of it, if I'm not mistaken, GOAT has a partnership with Nike, and GOAT's a big reseller. You know, so it's like, where does it end? It makes the hunt for a shoe a lot more funner too. You know, because if you have a set dollar amount that you're willing to overpay for a shoe, then you know you can get whatever it is you're trying to get. But then if there's an amount that you're looking to get the shoe at, you know, you can kind of put your heels in the mud and be like, nah, I'm gonna wait on that. You know, this is like there was a pair of a couple years ago. There were some Jordan 1s, bread. They were the bread patent leathers, black and red. I brought them here with me today. I've never put my foot in them.
Yeah.
But I waited on them, and I actually ended up catching them on at retail. So the game here is if you can cop the shoes at retail, you're winning. Like now, if you're willing to pay a little bit more over resale, you know, a little bit more over in resale, that's to each his own. Like I've always had a motto: if it's a shoe I want, there's not a dollar amount that'll push me off of it. You know, and I think I've said that to you, you know, countless of times. Now, to me, any shoe that I buy, I wear. Like I don't buy shoes to put them up in the box. And that's why I don't really consider myself like a collector, because I've told you this, and anybody that knows me, I only buy shoes I can wear. I'm not going to buy a size 15 Jordan 6 Gatorade because that's the shoe I've been wanting for a while. I'm not going to buy it because I can't wear it. I don't wear a size 15. It kind of defeats the whole point.
Yeah. Especially to own it and not be able to put your foot in it.
Exactly. Like I don't buy shoes for showcase. You know, of course I would love to be able to put my shoes in some type of acrylic cases, but there's that little small thing called large feet syndrome. Like if I can that would be inappropriate. But if I could find a way to remove some inches off my foot, like they have there was a pair of Air Max Lebron. I think it has something to do with the soccer league.
Oh yeah. I saw that video when you opened up that box.
Yeah,
those shoes were sexy as
shit.
Yeah,
those, and then there was there's some low top Air Force Ones. They're doing a partnership with Tiffany. So like stuff like that. Like, yeah, I may not ever wear the shoe, but if I can get it in my size and I had a fit that would go good with it, I'll rock it out.
Mm-hmm.
You know me. It ain't a shoe color that I won't put my foot in. So
what's your favorite shoe you own?
Man, this is gonna sound crazy.
If you say those Velcro New Balance.
Actually, those are Propels, Profits, whatever they call them. They're not New Balance, but the ones I'm getting ready to name are New Balance. Like I have a pair of black 574 New Balances. I mean, I'm a bigger dude, so like when you find a wide width shoe. Now, what's funny is I don't have a wide foot. I have a long, skinny, narrow foot,
like the Kevin Durant foot.
Exactly, like you're looking like I'm walking around with two alligators,
like a capital L.
Exactly, yeah. Be like looking like Bozo,
yeah.
Long foot. But for me, if I can figure out that part of it, we'll be getting somewhere.
I know the Yeezys, me and you, we went to a little Yeezy phase. I'm stuck between two sizes. I'm stuck. I can't, like a 14 is just sloppy. 13 is too tight. 13 and a half is a 14.
Well, I think with Yeezys, where people sometimes get lost on, the 350s, which is, I think, where we both had the same 350s. Mm-hmm. The toe hook, I call it a toe hook. They may have a different name for it. I feel like the toe hook fits more true to form as opposed to if you don't have the toe hook. So the reason I say that, my 350 Yeezys that I have, I think I have them in a 17. With the toe hook, they fit perfect. Now my baby blue, the sky blue Yeezys that I got that don't have the toe hook, they run a little wide. And then I've also experimented with some different Yeezys. Speaking of which, I hear Adidas is crawling back to Kanye, but it is what it is. $1 billion to do that to you.
Well, yeah. I mean, first off, it's a great idea. It's a great shoe. I mean, I love them. They're comfortable shit. And I get it. Like it's a design nobody else is going to be able to do. If you're not bringing new designs in, Adidas is just not going to be able to. They're not going to do it themselves. So I don't know. I mean, I'm excited to see what happens with that, but you never know.
Also, I just want to say, note to self: if you don't have an arch in your foot and you're wearing Yeezys, please be careful. They are notorious for rolling ankles.
Oh yeah, because they are like walking in a cloud. Like, I mean, it's very like it feels terrific. But I do have flat feet. So like you can rock back and forth. So yeah, there's they don't have a lot of stability in the ankle area for sure.
Been to tore some knees up. Walking around here looking like LeBron.
Ooh, you know what? Look, you know what? That's it. Well, hey, thanks for tuning in.
I mean, LeBrace. I mean, he's walking around with a boot on. That's a fashion statement.
I mean, it could be. I guarantee that'll probably be up there. Yeezy will start making those boots.
Exactly. Well, I mean, we ain't gonna talk about boots. I know you've seen
big red.
I see.
I call them Mario boots. Tell me those look like Mario Brothers. That is the stupidest looking red boots.
Kyle, I would be afraid if I found them boots in my size. Because
you would wear it, wouldn't you?
No, I'm afraid I wouldn't be able to get my foot out. Do you know the worst feeling in the world is putting your feet in some shoes and then, like, I don't know how women put on those boots that zip all the way up to like their knees. I'm sitting here like, I mean, I'm pretty sure the circulation has to be cut off for some women. I'm pretty sure the circulation has to be cut off somewhere in their legs. Cause I'm sitting there like, man, how do you get out of that? Like, I have a pair of purple Air Force Ones that probably come up to my calf. They were like these. Yeah, Kyle, I think I found them on a website on clearance for like $20. A size 17. Purple's my favorite color. I love Prince. More so, maybe not the music. I like the symbol, more than anything. And because of purple being my favorite color, Purple Rain. And,
big Vikings fan.
Negative, negative. I mean, well, there is a Michigan State alum there, Kurt family. Yeah,
I know he is.
There's a Kurt family. They have a quarterback there that's overpaid. Kurt family. Yeah. Hey, yo, no disrespect to any Viking fans out there, Chad.
I will tell you, man, Justin Jefferson is a fun fucking player to watch, man. Yeah. I think he's hands down the best. I mean, it'd be tough to say. I mean, yeah, I put him. He's definitely. I think he's the best wide receiver. So it'd be hard to say. I mean, I think he's top 3.
So
overall,
would you say these past 3 years, if they had a quarterback, they would have won a Super Bowl?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. I don't think. I think their defense needs work. I mean, I think the Dalvin Cook kind of passed his prime. I don't know. They don't really.
How many years has Dalvin Cook been in the league?
He just doesn't do what he used to do. I mean, he'll have like one game a season where he'll get like 4 to 6 touchdowns. And they're like, wow, we should really run the ball more. And I guess I don't want to say maybe he's past his prime. I guess maybe the play calling is affected a little bit. But
look,
that team should be better.
Here's a hot take. Minnesota probably wouldn't do this. If y'all want to see how good Dalvin Cook is, send him to Kansas City.
Yeah, but I feel like didn't Le'Veon Bell go there? I mean, he was a little later in his career.
We're talking about 2 completely different animals.
Yeah, but I'm saying, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I don't think there is a running back that's ever going to be amazing in Kansas City just because of how Andy Reid is play calling. It's so different. It's not a, consistent running back game.
I think you can get away with it with Dalvin Cook because he can catch the ball out the backfield.
I think Pacheco can do that.
Well, I'm not knocking any of the backs that Kansas City already has. I'm just looking at the threat that Dalvin Cook offers because in that offense, you don't need a running back to carry the ball 20 times. I mean, you need probably 10, 13 carries, and you can probably get 100 yards off of that just based off of the offense because you're going to be leaning more towards stopping the pass. But, that's just
I feel like
hyperbole.
No, I feel like every year we're looking at some new running back that can be good in Kansas City, but I feel like Patty Mahomes can do good with whoever they give him.
I will tell you this. This is a little comic relief right now. So I do have a side bet going on with one of my best friends. He was over at my house a couple weeks ago, and we were having a discussion about he's a big Detroit Lions fan. Old dog, you know who you is. So he's a big Detroit Lions fan, and I'm like, hey man, not that the Bears would do this for you guys. What about if we, traded the number 1 pick to you guys and, you give us your 2 first-round picks? And he was like, nah, I'm fine where we're at. I'm like, I mean, don't you guys want a new quarterback? Well, they're content with Jared Goff. I'm like, yeah, but they're paying Jared Goff $30-some million a year, and I don't think what he did this past year is something that's going to continue to grow that way. Like, I look at Jared Goff in the same light that I look at Daniel Jones, even though they're two completely different quarterbacks. Daniel Jones is more of a running quarterback. Jared Goff is more of a system quarterback.
Yeah.
You put him in the right system, he can do exactly what you need him to do to lead a team. But the bet that I made with my buddy was that I betted him $100 that Justin Fields, before he is either forced out of the NFL or retires, he would win an MVP. And here's the kicker. It goes down to $50 if he wins an MVP with the Bears. So
I mean, hey, I tell you, man, I think that this year could have been the year. I mean, what he did this year. I mean, they sat in the last game, 2 games, or just the last game.
No, he's at the last.
The last game, he could have broke the all-time rushing record that game. Easy. I think he only needed 80 yards, which he was averaging. I think that every game.
Yeah.
So if you get a system around him, I think it's going to happen. I mean, what do you think the biggest thing that he needs? Or we need as a Bears. Let's say we're keeping Fields.
I will tell you this, and this is gonna sound crazy. If the Bears had any sense of a pulse on defense, there was probably at least 5 or 6 games they probably could have won.
I mean, do you think, taking back though? I think they were going to tank though. I think they were.
Well, no, I felt like they were tanking because, like,
I think they
you
were,
would some of the games they were playing, you would see how it was going, and it was like, all right, we stop attacking on offense with Justin Fields, and I was like, okay, so what are we doing here? But I mean, that's neither here nor there. I mean, thank you, Lovie Smith, for the number 1 pick, and let's see if we can make some magic happen with it.
What do you think? In your opinion, what do you think is going to happen with our pick? You think we're trading it? Think we're keeping it? If we keep it, who are we going with?
So I think a little bit outside of the box. I think way outside of the box. So in a perfect world, if we could find a way to convince the Texans to trade up to the number 1 pick, we take the 2. The Texans get the quarterback that they want. Then that's going to open the floodgates for more people trying to get up into that number 2 spot.
Mm-hmm.
Trade out of that pick, maybe to the Colts. If we're sure on Will Anderson and Jalen Carter being there at 4. If you feel that this situation that just happened with Jalen Carter completely takes him off the board for you at 4 or anywhere in the top 10, then I would probably look at trading a little further back and maybe looking at a wide receiver or somebody on offensive line. Because the thing is the sense that I get from everything I read about the Bears and everything that I've seen and the interviews they've done, Jalen Carter, whether you like him or not, I mean, he's a generational talent as a 3 technique. And it just so happens that the defense that our Eberflus runs needs a dominant 3 technique D tackle. Can we go get one in free agency? Probably not at the talent level that we can get him, and then at the value we can get him at by drafting him. The Will Anderson noise, it makes some sense to me. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a very talented athlete. I just feel we can get that type of an edge further down in the draft.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, who's the cat? Was a defensive tackle or edge that ran a 4.48?
Or was it a 4.69?
Or maybe it was a 4.69?
Yeah, it was a defensive tackle. I think a defensive tackle from Pittsburgh.
Isn't that filthy, though, to see a defensive tackle that is running that fast?
It's filthy, but I would have to see his actual measurables.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're telling me he's 6'3", 6'4", 310 running that, okay, we're talking about something.
No, he was under 3.
I'm gonna assume he's probably like 269.
I thought it was 6'3", 260 and some change. Or something. I might be wrong.
Yeah.
But it was
so I mean, that's to me. I mean, it's a defensive lineman. So technically, yeah, he would be considered a defensive end.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, edge, defensive end. It really just pertains to the defense you're running. If you're running a 4-3 or you're running with 4 down linemen, you're calling that's a defensive end. And if you're in a 3-4, it's more of an edge rusher, because ideally Will Anderson, I don't know how he would fit if we ran a 4-3. He would be a perfect fit in a 3-4, but I think we can get more value for that pick, going a different route.
I got you. I know what we have to talk about. So recently in the NBA, a certain player
Bullshit alert.
Listen, your anger. Now look, so you're not a LeBron hater, okay, and I appreciate that. You know, you're not necessarily a fan, okay, but you appreciate the fact that he's a good player.
What Kyle doesn't realize, I'm getting ready to pander to the side of the world he doesn't like here in a minute. Proceed.
Well, you started up because you know my side. So what do you mean? Elaborate.
What's your side?
I think he did. I think there's no way you score that many points for that long and not be considered, you know, one of the greatest players ever.
Well, see, I could take that take because listen to what you just said. One of the greatest.
Well, you understand that I think Michael Jordan's the greatest basketball player that's ever played the game.
But see, that's where your LeBrondom's a little different than most.
Well, because there would be, and even LeBron, there would be no LeBron, there'd be no Kobe without Jordan. I think for me, Jordan, and again, it's just for me. At my age, Jordan changed the game of basketball. You couldn't watch TGIF. You couldn't watch Family Matters. You couldn't watch Step by Step. You couldn't watch these shows because Jordan was battling against the Pacers. Like that took over our TV. It took over. It took over the world. Jordan was such a transcending human that it changed the game of basketball in such a way that needed to be done. You know, I think the game was very boring, and I think he brought a whole new era to the sport.
So
you know,
what would be your take on Oscar Robertson?
I think I'm too young. I didn't get it's different. Just the same thing with Kareem and Magic. I was just too young to watch. So if I didn't get to watch you play, it's hard for me to say. That's why I go by my era.
Here's my thing. You know, I always like to take the opposite side of different things, but I'll say this. I don't feel like you can compare Michael Jordan and LeBron.
Mm-mm.
Let's just call it what it is. You had a 6'5", athletic freak, and Michael Jordan.
You're 6'6".
Well, unfortunately, I can't help it. Maybe because I'm tall and you know, like I've actually seen them before at Point of Wood. So like, I've met cats that were 6'6", and I didn't see it, but
he was
still,
an NBA 6'6".
But even then, I mean, what he did on the basketball court in that era, where you could literally bully ball someone, you know, you can't take that away from him. That was the era of ball that he had to play in. Then you have LeBron, who genetically gifted. I'm gonna give out a name that probably a lot of people don't even think of. When you compare, everybody always talks about LeBron and Michael. One player I will say that injuries probably derailed his career. I'm not saying he was going to be a prolific scorer. Is Dominique Wilkins. Dominique Wilkins was maybe 6'7", 6'8", a genetic freak. To me, that's who I would look at as a comparison to LeBron. Yes, LeBron has done much greater things, but when I look at their body type in their game, Dominique came into the league with a halfway decent jump shot. LeBron came into the league with no jump shot. And then he evolved into having one. And Dominique, I don't, you know, I know a lot of people probably like, oh, you talking about the guy that Michael Jordan beat in the dunk contest? Yes, that Dominique Wilkins. If you go look at some YouTube highlights, I promise you, you won't be disappointed. That guy was Vince Carter before Vince Carter. And if you're looking for a genetic freak, that the way that LeBron plays, that's Dominique. Michael Jordan, and I hate saying this because it does sound like sour grapes. Let's not forget, he did take 2 years off and still ended up being, however you want to count it, it still ended up being, what, top 5 scorer?
Oh, easy.
You know,
once you get rid of that 45 jersey.
Yeah.
That thing had to go.
But, like I look at different things like that, and then my brain gets to thinking and gets to spinning, and I'm like, man, so a lot of people don't know Larry Nance. You know, Larry Nance played with the Cleveland Cavaliers. He was 6'10". He was a power forward. I mean, the guy could jump out of the gym. He has a kid that plays in the NBA. And, you know, like, I remember, like, like I see players like that, and then I see some of the kids that we have now, like Kevin Durant. To me, is more of an anomaly than LeBron or anybody else, because here it is, you got a kid that literally is 6'10", 100 and whatever, maybe he's 200 pounds, but when he first came in the league,
he's about 110.
And just like, I mean, whatever you want to say about his hairline and his hair, the boy can score.
Look, I'm one who can't talk about anybody's hairline, based on my players. But
he could put the ball in the hoop.
Kobe said he's one of the hardest. He was one of the hardest players to defend because he learned to move with his left. When he came in the league, he could only go right. He goes, once that boy learned to move with his left, game over. So he's a great player.
100%, because like I've never played D1 ball. I played a lot of, we would call it school ball. It was elementary. I didn't play anything in high school and stuff like that. But like, if I'm a student of the game, I love to watch the game. I love to watch the sets. I like to see how plays come along. And then like, there are certain players you put in certain offenses that the floor just opens up. So like, one of the things that made Phil Jackson so different is Phil Jackson had a cheat code. He had Michael Jordan and he had Kobe Bryant.
He had Kobe and Shaq.
Well, but here's the thing. Phil had the triangle.
Yeah.
And for as much as people probably stay away from the triangle now, when you have a dominant player like a Kobe Bryant that's a walking bucket, and then you got a dominant big like Shaq, literally all you need to do is space them out and have some people that can hit some open jump shots.
Like Robert Horry, who has won more championships than
every
goat there. He's got every championship.
There you go.
He just snuck in his teams. Oh, you guys got a good setup. Let me hop in here real quick.
You say Robert Horry, I say Vernon Maxwell.
Mad
Max. Vernon Maxwell. Man, Vernon Maxwell with Kenny Smith with the high top fade with the little bitty shorts.
Man.
Those were the days.
So let me ask you this then. All right, so stereotype that I disapprove of when somebody tries to say LeBron's a bitch, or when he's got these cramps or whatever else. That motherfucker is one big ass muscle, and if you ever got a cramp in your leg, I have tossed a girl off of me onto the floor during sex with a leg cramp. Okay, so I couldn't imagine having LeBron's legs. Like a cramp, I promise, a cramp is like the hardest. It's the worst pain I've ever felt in my life.
How much did you pay for that?
It was a double discount. Yeah, so she stayed.
Did it come with curtains?
All right. Well, thanks for joining us again. No, that wasn't that one. No, she wasn't wild enough to get on top.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So she made you do all the work.
Starfish.
Oh, okay. Yeah, 100%.
I wish I'd have caught a cramp.
Would have slowed down the process of handing that credit card over.
Gotta go. We'll go sleep on the couch. All right, let's do this. Build yourself a super team. You got 5 people. And you could put people that maybe didn't play in that position, but give your top 5 if you were building a super team right now. And let's just do eras that we watched.
Damn it.
Yeah, I know, because I'd like to. Yeah, but no, let's just do eras that we watched.
Grab Wilt.
Yeah, I mean, did you see any of Wilt? I didn't. I think it was
video.
Yeah, but that doesn't count.
Yeah, I know it doesn't count, but from the era I would have seen.
Let's say 90s and on.
90s and on.
I mean, I guess you could go late 80s if you need to, but like I think even if they played in 90s.
I can get you 90s. 90s to now?
Yep.
Damn, I don't know if anybody in this era. Okay, yeah. Let me see. No, I'm gonna make this tough. All right. So
we'll go
disclaimer. I'm not gonna use Jordan.
Oh, you have to.
I can make the team without Jordan.
But it's not a super team.
Okay. Well,
we got to be fair about it.
Okay. All right. So, let's go position by position.
Okay.
I pick a player. You pick a player.
All right. And we can't pick the same player. So if you pick
no, this is easy. This is easy because we're not going to pick the same player.
All right, man.
All right. You want me to go first?
Yeah, get it.
Okay. Point guard. Mark Price.
Going Allen Iverson.
Okay. Shooting guard.
By the way, that was a tie between him and Steve Nash. I really like Steve Nash.
Shooting guard. Going Kobe Bryant.
Going Jordan.
Small forward. Going Kevin Durant.
Damn. Well, all right. I mean, LeBron could be. I mean, he could be in that forward spot.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see how big I'm gonna go. I'm trying to think deep. All right, I gotta go LeBron.
Okay.
So what do I got? What do I got? I got
you have Iverson, Jordan, and LeBron.
Damn.
Yeah, it looks good. But see, I got a method here. So power forward, and we're staying in the 90s. Man, I don't want to sound biased when I say his name. Oh, Sean Kemp.
I can't flex Geo, can I?
Who?
Giannis. I mean, is he technically?
Yeah,
he's a center. I mean, he's a center, but is he? I mean, is he in a center?
He's more small forward, power forward. If you want to, when it comes to the forwards and the centers, it's kind of all universal. But you can go with whoever you want to go with.
Yeah, I'll go Geo.
Okay. Who's Gio? Giannis?
Giannis. Sorry.
Okay. Well, Atakupa.
Yeah, I can't. I gave up a long time ago.
Kleenex says, bless you. So, who's my center? Hakeem Olajuwon.
Yeah, I'm going Shaq.
Yeah.
I mean, Iverson, Jordan, LeBron, Gio, and Shaq. Mm-hmm. I don't have a lot of speed shooters, but I think Jordan can do all of that.
You know what you have on your team? Look, go back and look at your team.
I got a lot of attitude.
No, you got a lot of ball dominant.
That's what I mean. But I got a lot of Westbrook going on.
I think my team will beat your team.
Well, we'll see. I put it in. I know you have NBA 2K at home. Put that in and see who wins.
I'll tell you why my team would beat your team. Iverson would probably kill Mark Price, but Mark Price is going to eat him up behind the 3-point line, and Mark Price is going to give up the ball. I don't count on Iverson giving up the ball. Kobe Bryant, Jordan is going to be a wash because they're both going to pretty much give me the same. That's going to be my.
You don't think Jordan's better at defense then? I think Jordan's way better at defense than Kobe.
Yeah, he's better defensively, but they're. I mean, when you say better, I mean, I wouldn't say that. I'm not going to sit up here and tell you that Michael's leaps and bounds better than Kobe defensively.
I'm not saying leaps and bounds, but I think
they're close enough to where it's contested on who's better. I mean, if you're just going to look at it and say, "Oh, well, Mike won this many defensive player of the year awards," then I guess you would win your argument there. But
I mean, awards don't mean the best player because then we're talking Bill Russell's the best player that's ever played, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And George Mikan was the better center. But so when I look at our small forwards, you went LeBron, I went Kevin Durant. And I'm fine with that matchup because Kevin Durant's going to give me buckets wherever. And he's going to pass the ball. LeBron's going to pass the ball too. They're kind of similar players. Then when I go to power forward, I'm looking at more of a power forward, somebody that's going to go get me some boards. Sean Kemp's going to go get me that. And if any of your players have to double team Kobe or Durant, we can throw an oop up to.
There's a Shaq that you're forgetting all about. Nobody's going under the hoops at all against Shaq.
Shaq's preoccupied with the dream.
I'm not nothing against the dream. I'm not saying anything against.
Now, defensively, we gotta account for Shaq in the post.
Shaq's gonna grab every fucking rebound.
But you notice who I didn't know name? Giannis gets canceled out in that group that you have.
I think Giannis still grabs some boards. I think he'll be.
Giannis needs the ball.
He'll still be up there to grab boards. I mean, if you think about it, somebody's gonna try to box out Shaq.
Giannis ain't got a jump shot right now, so we ain't even worried about him.
I just think having two big guys like that would be nice.
What was your question? I know you just had one. And can't blame it on the whiskey. Because, guys, this is probably the soberest episode he'll probably ever have.
Man, what was I going to say?
I thought it was probably your abundance of being able to smell.
Yeah, no. Lost that years ago.
Yeah. which is a weird thing if you know Kyle. It's like, hey, does it smell like anything? We're like, nah, dude, it don't smell like nothing. Then you leave out of the house. Motherfucker smells like 3 cats done died up in there.
No, I get a crawl. That's why I like having a roommate, because I'm like, hey, just a heads up, man. If it ever you walk and if it ever smells like cat piss, be worried because we don't have a cat. I had to tell people at work, right? I'm trying to get them to understand that. I'm like, hey, because same thing with every job I have, all the work clothes is all the same gear. It's all the same color, everything else. So I got 9 work shirts, and I'm like, damn, did I wash that one? You know, and a quick smell test works, but yeah, not anymore.
Hey, quick side note. If you ever fart around Kyle and he doesn't smell it and he's like, oh, is it warm? Just be like, oh, yeah, you tasted it.
Mm-hmm. Walking into a fart, it feels like you walk out the door in like Florida humidity. Like, oh, somebody just broke wind in here.
Oh, man.
No, you know what you should do, honestly? You should, when you get up, put that roster into NBA 2K and just see what happens. So who do you think's going to be in the finals then?
Boy.
If you had to bet, you're like, hey.
I would go Boston.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Let's get taken out Milwaukee?
Yeah. Yeah. Because okay. I think Boston with Robert Williams has enough to slow down, because like the one thing with Milwaukee with Giannis is you have the Lopez, Brooke Lopez, and you got Middleton, and you have Holiday, that you have to kind of slow down and stuff like that. But if you got somebody that you can one up on Giannis and kind of slow him down with the ball penetration, because if you look at it, for the most part, I want to say probably 60% of their offense, it's Giannis going downhill and kicking the ball out. You know, it's never Giannis pulling up for a jump shot. It's either going in for a dunk, or getting fouled, or kicking it out for an open 3. So I think Robert Williams could D up Giannis one-on-one. So not saying you can completely neutralize Giannis that way, but it kind of puts a little stop point in their offense. Now, when you go on the defensive side, you know, if Tatum and Brown are halfway on, they become a problem.
Tatum's money. I like him a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like he's yeah.
I don't have any faith in the 76ers. I like Embiid. James Harden is a talented player. It's just, if you go back and look at his track record, he disappears in the playoffs. And I don't know if that's because he plays so hard during the regular season that he doesn't have enough in the tank when it comes playoff time. Now,
is that with or without the fat suit?
That was probably the biggest scam in NBA history.
Remember we saw, I remember saying that picture that morning. I go, what happened to Harden? He was wearing a fat suit. There's no other way to do it, man. I was like, look, he's got breasts. He's got like udders. He's got like a beer belly. Like he had to be, I promise you, he had to be wearing a fat suit. And then what was it, like 11 days later, he's on his brand new team, cut up abs. I'm like,
oh yeah.
That's shit.
That's just like, I think the last one I seen, he didn't have a fat suit on, but he was moving around like an old man. Blake Griffin, when he got traded from Detroit to Brooklyn. Like, his first game in Brooklyn, like, he's jumping and dunking like he was still out in L.A. And I know some Detroit fans had to be like, what the heck was that? But, yeah. So out west, oh, my God.
The West is wild, man.
What the heck? Let's jump out there. Lakers.
You think the Lakers are going to do it all?
Yeah, the Lakers Celtics in the final. Look, oh my God, the scammer.
Yeah, scam god.
Yeah, you know who that is?
What's his name? I know you're talking about
Benjamin.
Stories. Yeah,
Benjamin Simmons.
You mean he got Kardashian, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, he didn't get a kid out of it.
No, but yeah. once you date him, they're done. Like once you do, you're Because I
think the only person that has glowed up off the Kardashians is Tristan Thompson. I mean, I seen the video.
Wait, wouldn't it? Oh, it was Lamar Odom that almost died.
No, yes. Yeah, because
Lamar Odom almost died. They lost a few other ones. Hey, once you get Kardashian, man, I'm telling you, that's a. They have broke everybody. They have just ruined every NBA player's career.
Hey, Kim Kardashian, I know you'll never hear this, but if you happen to hear this, I just want to let you know that was the KQ that said that. I have nothing but love and adoration for the Kardashian girls. If you guys would like to sponsor some of my nieces, I would be up for it. I'm not paying for anything. No, I do not want to have a sit down interview with you guys. I just want to, put them in a room with you because I feel like you guys make money and I'm trying to generate some revenue.
Hey, whatever works, man.
Kyle would gladly join in too.
I mean, I'll take Kendall Jenner.
And he'll recant all that.
I like that one. She's kind of hot. But I don't
Which
know
one?
I think Kendall Jenner. I think she's a Jenner, not a Kardashian. So she's,
Whoa.
she's still ruining people.
Well, you know who I'm. Oh man, can't say that.
I think it was her and Ben Simmons, wasn't it? Her and Ben Simmons.
Who was her dad?
I don't think you can say that. Isn't
There's a dad?
Isn't it a mom now?
I don't know.
Well, she's a Jenner, so isn't it?
Hey, I don't know. I'm in the United States legally.
Yeah.
I mean, her dad was on a Wheatie box at one time. So yes, that was her dad.
Is it? Did she still say that's my dad? Like, I wonder how that is. Like, oh yeah, that's my dad. Or I feel like you'd have to say mom, right? Or like that's my second mom. I don't know how that works.
I don't really know.
I'm not judging him. I just don't know what I would say. Like if my dad just goes, "Hey, Kyle, I want to be a woman."
Think of how awesome that is. You don't have to pick. Like if you're called mom or dad.
I don't know. I wonder if she gets mad. I am not. I am your mother. I don't know what that.
I wonder if there's a word.
A word like
like a secret word.
Pre dad. I don't know. Like I don't have time for all that. I don't know what in that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just a whole. That's a whole different topic and journey. I'm not trying to go down. I'm only on season 2. I'm only on season 2. I'm not trying to get canceled already.
Do you hear me? I don't even have tap shoes on. I'm over here tapping, trying to.
Not falling for that.
Oh no, not in a bit. Like, yeah. So in other news,
so
if you go through my YouTube mentions right now, or like my look and see what I look at, you'll see here lately I've been watching a lot of beekeeping videos, which is weird.
Do you see the hot chick that does the beekeeping?
No.
Oh man, there's some hot chick on TikTok.
Normally these are like Amish dudes.
Yes, I know.
Where like there's typically, well, yeah, there you go.
This chick, she's out there, no beekeeping gear. She's out there, there's a little smoke. She's like, oh, the patio is infested by yellow jackets. She's out there.
Does she have the whole?
Nope. She's out there lonesome.
Them OGs.
Yeah, she's out there, but she. Oh, I was born and raised around this, and like. It's crazy. Like all these celebrities have duetted her and stuff because she's out there just like a little smoke can, whatever, just a little weird smoke thing. She's like, so the deck was covered. She's out there just smoking them out and everything. Like it's nothing. I'm just like, what?
Yeah, it kind of sounds.
She hasn't responded back on my DMs yet, but it's fine. We'll figure it out.
We'll get you a bee catcher.
I don't like bees. Well, we do got to talk retail.
Yeah.
So I asked you a couple questions about so not just I have a lot of people on podcasts from all their jobs. You've been at Sprint now over 7 years, so you've been enjoying the retail life. So I asked you to kind of come up with what are some of the craziest retail stories, and it can even be not just from T-Mobile Sprint, or what are some crazy, because we worked together for 6 out of the 7 years you've been there. What are some crazy KQ stories?
Oh my God. Oh yeah, let's get right to it. So
I like where this is going.
Anybody that knows Kyle used to have a favorite pair of pants that he would wear to work. And let's just say these favorite pair of pants he would wear to work. Think of gray sweatpants. And you know anything about gray sweatpants? Yep, these pants were gray. Kyle would wear them to work, and he got his little dress shoes on, and he's just nice and proper and prim. And there was this one time he was talking to a lady, and he was talking to her, but we were far enough away that we couldn't hear what they were saying, but anybody who knows Kyle knows he has restless legs. He can't stop moving. So he's doing like this hip thrust. And I mean, if you're looking at it from afar, you don't know if he's like, hey, look at what's going on down here. Because he's like thrusting his hips forward. And so later on, as he walks away, and he sweats profusely. So he comes back, and I'm looking at him like, hey man, you good? You out there hitting her with that bulge. And we have pictures of him with this bulge, like with his hand on his hip, and he's sweating, like taking his right hand, rubbing his forehead. And I'm sitting there, I mean, the lady got 7 new lines, so I guess it worked, bro.
For the record, after that picture, yeah. I threw those damn pants away.
I believe that young lady is still a customer of ours. I don't believe in aging anyone, so she was a young lady. And Kyle was a young man. He burned some calories that day. I appreciated it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, working in retail, I want to say, I've had some funny stories. I remember one time, this was years ago, a guy was in the store. It was on a Sunday. He actually canceled his girlfriend's phone line because they were into it. She called on someone else's phone, and in the calmest voice, she said, I don't have a problem coming up there fucking you up. They don't know me. They'll never see me again after today. 2 minutes later, she walks into the store. All you hear is this loud. She smacked the mess out of him. He had a red handprint on the side of his face. And he just stood there and just kept talking. And I just kind of looked to my right and looked to my left. Everybody's looking at me. We're looking at him. And he's like, yeah, so I just want to pay my bill and this, and the third. And I'm like, you're not worried about nothing? Apparently she had flattened his tires and everything before he can get out there. But you see some exciting stuff. Me, I'm an old school. I'm a humble person. Like, my wife satisfies every need that I need. She actually is the yin to my yang. Like I said, I tell people all day long, she deserves the award for wife of the millennium, decade, century, whatever you want to call it, because I am naturally introverted. I'm not real big on meeting new people, hanging around new people, socializing with new people. Sometimes I'm in positions where I have no choice but to talk to people. My wife knows that I'm, I'll go to a family gathering. Any of my family members that hears this, they can attest to it. I'll show up. I'll hang around for a little while. Then I'm gone. It's nothing negative against anybody. It's just always been my personality type. I have nothing against anyone. It's just, I think part of it comes from probably for the first 12 years of my life, I was the only child. So I've never had a sibling like when I was growing up that stayed in the household with me 365 days a year that I had to share space with. Like, I had a stepbrother that we're both the same age that would come up for the summer. And, we would share, whatever it is, we had to share a room or whatever it may be. But other than that, I was pretty much the only child. So I've always entertained myself. Like, I don't need a group of people to reaffirm who it is I am and my place in society. So with that being said, I have a little brother. There's a 12-year age gap between us, and you've met him before, Kyle, and I'm pretty sure he would probably tell people, yes, I'm his big brother, but it may be I'm more of like a second father to him because of the age difference. I love my little brother to death. He's his own individual person, and I typically tell people my brother's probably one of the smartest people I know. And if you happen to hear this, Tevin, if you ever ask me to admit to it in another setting, I won't admit to it. I love you to death, and I wish nothing but greatness for you. But growing up for 12 years as the only child, like I said, I didn't have video games, so I would go outside, play sports with all the kids in the neighborhood. I played basketball. I played baseball. My stepdad, when he came into my life, I want to say in the 3rd grade, he coached my baseball team when I was in 3rd, 4th, 5th, and I want to say 6th grade. And that it just taught me a different, a different boundary where, like, once I had a little brother, I literally was like, at one point, I was probably in the 7th. My little brother was born when I was in the 6th grade. So I want to say 7th, 8th grade, I used to watch my little brother. So, I would change diapers. It would be me and him at home. I would change diapers, have to fix bottles, make sure he go to sleep, make sure he eat. So at a very early age, I was, I wasn't the sole responsible person of this child, but for an 8-hour period, I was responsible for him. So at that early age, all of that responsibility of that let me know very early on, I'm not in a hurry to have no kids. Not even looking to having any kids. I'm good with this right here, because when mom and his dad come home, I can give him to them. I love that idea. And I still follow that motto to this day. My sister-in-law, if she happens to hear this, I'll fill her kids up with sugar. Then when it's time to drop them off, hey, go home to your mama.
Yep.
And she'll call me, bro, I just had to beat them. Well, hey, that's what you supposed to do.
Sorry.
She like, well, can you come over here? Well, what, I'm going to come over there and whoop them? I ain't got nothing to do. Look, let me tell you something. My job as the uncle was to fill them up with sugar, get them riled up, and send them home with you.
Yep.
Like, and it ain't a situation where I need you to come get them. I'm gonna come drop them off to you when I know you at home. So, but those are the different things, because like my nieces and nephews play a big part in who I am today as a man, because a lot of my nephews, I try to lead by example, and a lot of times that may mean being the square uncle, not smoking weed, not getting drunk, not hanging out, not going to the clubs. It ain't nothing wrong with that. There ain't nothing wrong with that at all. But what I want to be able to show them and always be able to leave a lasting impression, to be like, hey, my uncle did it this way, and he did this and he did that, and he made sure we had that. Because I had 2 dads. My biological dad passed away years ago. And I have my stepdad, who's my dad. I've learned so much from him. I could never repay him for everything he's taught me. My biological dad, our relationship was cool, but it wasn't like how I feel like a father and son relationship should be. But also at the same time, there was maybe a 500 to 600 mile difference between where he stayed at and where I'm at. He taught me a lot on if I was to become a father. There was a lot of things my biological dad taught me that I can never thank him enough, because there's some mistakes that he made in a relationship that we could have had that I'll never fault him for, but it has helped me become a better man. It's just as well as my dad that I have now has done things, and I've seen things that maybe he made a mistake here, where I was able to see that, and I'm able to learn off of that, and I thank him for that. Like, because it's real hard, like when a single mom meets up with the guy, and for a guy to kind of come in and kind of take your kid in as his own, and then to have this super dope guy also have an awesome family down there in the good old state of Louisiana, where they from day one, I don't call her grandma, I call her mama, where from day one, like I remember as if it was yesterday when I'm in the car and she was like, "Hey, you can call me this," which is her name, or you can call me Ed, or you can call me Mama. And from that day forward, I've been in love. The love for my mother is just as high. Like, my mom is awesome. A lot of the things that I am is because of her and because of what I've seen her go through as a single mom, raising me for most of my life as a single mom, and just seeing the things that she's went through and had to endure. I, you know, if I ran across, well, we ain't gonna even talk about what I ran across, but my mom set forever. Like, that's neither here nor there. Like, I'm gonna always hold her up to the highest. Me and my mom, our relationship is probably, I mean, most kids probably have a relationship like this with their mom. I don't know. Like, with me and my mom being pretty much a single mom for most of my time coming up, um, I don't look at my relationship with my mom as like, that's my mom. It's more like, that's my sister. Like, cause we have conversations and my mother can tell you, I'm probably giving her more advice about different things because that's just naturally who I am. My mom was always known not to be the person to have the last word. Like, she's real quick to say what's on her mind and speak things, where I'm more of the analytical, like, I'll take stuff in and I won't say nothing, and at the moment that it needs to be brought up, I'll bring it up. That's why a lot of my friendships that I have now, some people think of friends as somebody that you have to be in communication with. A lot of my friends can tell you right now to this day, we can go 2 years and not speak. You pick up that phone, you call me, you need something, I'm there. If, I'm like, because of who I am, where internally a lot of things I just kind of deal with myself. And not that I'm dealing with anything bad. Like, I do a lot of meditating, a lot of praying, a lot of reading. I just like to be more in tune with myself. And I like to make sure the energy that I'm surrounded with is of an energy that's balancing my mood right there at that moment. So it's one of those things where, like, my wife would tell you, like, there's times when she can come home, I'm sitting in the living room, I may be reading something, or I might be in the bedroom just chilling. Like, it's not I don't know, it's just me, like, personality wise. Like, even going back to when I started working at Sprint and everybody was like, "Hey man, come out, we go on to Fridays." I think it took me probably 9 months to a year before I even came out and hung out with you guys. And it wasn't that I had anything against anybody. It's just the way that I move, I move a certain way. And it is not saying that I'm better than somebody else. It's just sometimes in life, you have to adhere to yourself. You got to take care of yourself first, because if you don't take care of yourself first, then you ain't gonna be able to do anything for yourself later, man.
Right.
So that's me in a nutshell, man. My family know that they're the center of my life. My wife is the center of my life. Those are the two biggest things that drive me. Like, success. I've had success in life. I'm still having success right now. A lot of things I don't speak about is for a reason, but I would like to say this to all my family members. I'm poor. If y'all have any food stamps that y'all can lend a brother, I would greatly appreciate it, because eating healthy is it's expensive. It's real expensive. Like, I'm paying $18 for 2 pounds of salmon, and they frozen. So, and ain't no skin on it. So anybody can help me out with some EBT. I think it's EBT here. I think it's Bridge Card. And out in Chicago, it's the link. I'm just saying, help a brother out. Hey, hold on. If you got some wick that you don't need and them kids don't need, I can use the wick too.
We're buying them at 70% cost. We'll give you 70 for 100.
But yeah,
No, that's awesome, man. And that does, just kind of describe you. Because when I first met you, man, I was like, he's probably one of the most analytic people ever, and it takes a while for you to trust people too. That's one thing about you is like, you are, you're loyal to your heart. Like once you get to know somebody, like, took a while for me to kind of like, really get to know you a little bit. But, once I kind of like, learned a lot more about you, I was like, man, I can see why, you keep people in your life for so long. Cause you're super, just a loyal person and trustworthy. And, you got, you're just like a natural father figure to everybody, no matter what age group, no matter what demographic, you just, and you're always honest to people about it, and you don't sugarcoat shit, which I love. And I think that's that
what I learned, so as a kid, and I will say this, he's no longer with us right now. My best friend when I was growing up, I want to say from the age of maybe 3, I want to say the preschool age to probably kindergarten, because I think we lost him. Either I was in the 1st grade or 3rd grade when my uncle passed away. My uncle name they called him Lank Brown. He was a deacon at the church. And I remember he used to have this gold. I want to say he had a white Cadillac at first and somebody sideswiped it. Then he got like this gold LTD. My uncle, I used to go everywhere with him. So like my mom had to work. And so he would pick me up from preschool. He would drop me off to preschool. If the church, back then they had these steam radiators. So he would have to go in there and bleed out the radiators, and he showed me how to do that. So my uncle that was my father figure, when I was younger. And one of the things that he always instilled in me, and he always said, he was like, always be slow to speak, like quick to think. He was like, and don't hold a grudge, like, which I don't hold grudges on people. I don't forget anything that anybody does that someone may feel like they wrong me. If you feel like you've got over on me, that's fine. You can have that, I don't believe in the 3 strikes you out. I believe in 1 strike, I cut people off. I don't really say I cut people off. I accept folks for who they are. And that's something that my uncle has always that he taught me when I was younger. One of the things that I kind of hold true today, I don't really carry wallets. The reason why I don't believe in wallets, now this could be some people way back in the 40s, 30s or whatever, because he was born in 1907. This is something that they probably believed in, that carrying a wallet was a sign of weakness. But then he also told me carrying a wallet is notorious for causing back issues, because when you're sitting on your wallet, you're unbalanced. So your spine is out of line. Never really thought about it like that, but think about it. I'm 4 or 5 years old, taking this stuff in.
Yeah.
So the thing behind the wallet is, if you carry a wallet, don't carry any pictures in it. Because he always believed if the enemy were to come to attack you and they were to take you, they could do more to you if they can look through your wallet and you got pictures of your kids and your wife and, sentimental stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I just walk around my ID. Like, even when I go out now and I take a 30-minute walk, only thing I take is my ID. If someone was to get my cell phone, good luck figuring out who's who.
Yeah.
Like,
and they got to get into it anyway.
Well, even if they got into it, if you go through my contact list, there, like, you would probably know now what my wife's name was in my phone, only because of the interactions you've seen being around my wife. And that's something else that I'll bring up that a lot of people don't realize. When you're in a relationship with someone, you need to be careful the amount of people you allow into your relationship. And that's one of the things that has made our relationship so strong. We're not like, think about it. You've been knowing me for 6-7 years. You've seen my wife a couple times, but you've only really been around her, and you've seen her with me probably one time where we were out in an event.
Yeah. Yeah, one time. That's it.
And in that event and setting that you've seen me and her together, I'm the same person.
100%.
Like, so, but it's not a knock against you.
No, I get it.
I've had people say before, hey, well, maybe you and your wife could come over and hang out. It's not that we don't want to do that or that we don't do that. It's just sometimes timing, things just kind of work out on its own. And when it happens, it happens. It's not something that we kind of force. Now, if she said to me, hey, babe, we're going to go do this, we're going to go visit this, all right, then I make the proper arrangements to make sure that happens.
Yeah.
But I'm very private about my life, and I'm even more private about my wife, because when we first started off in our journey as far as being boyfriend and girlfriend, there were so many people that was in the relationship, and then this person go tells this person that, and that person go tells this person that, and this person secretly likes this person. So, but because you hang out with this person, now this gets back here. No, it's just a whole bunch of mess. Like right now, there ain't nothing I'm going to say that you can't go talk to my wife about. Vice versa.
Yep.
Like, and most people, when they meet her, they would never put 1 and 2 together that we're together, because we're two completely different people, but when we come together, it's magic. Like, I've never, and granted, I've been with her since I'm 18. So the only relationships I can compare is when I was an immature teen. I've never met a woman like her, because when I met her, it didn't matter what my past was or who it was with or this, that, and the third. She accepted me for who I am. And naturally, I'm introverted. Secondly, I'm a butthead. I'm a jerk. I'm very stubborn. I'm very set in my ways. And she's been able to accept me all these years being the person that I am, even though it took me 10 years to propose to her and for us to get married. And I have to give a thanks and a shout out to a person for that. So the first male that had an impact on my life was my uncle. His name was Lebron. The second male that had an impact on my life was my stepdad, Alvin. Then in between Lank and my pops, Alvin, I had an uncle named James. He was a steel worker. He worked in steel. What I remember of him is him and my aunt, they used to always go to the Kentucky Derby. They would take me fishing, which I have a fishing story on. One time my cousin was casting out for the fish, and you know how they always tell you, don't stand behind someone when they casting out.
Yep.
Well, I was walking away and I felt a tug on my ear, and my cousin had hooked me in the top of my ear with it was a treble hook.
Oh,
so
shit.
basically the jaggeds went both way. So like if you tried to pull it this way, it was going to cut. If you pulled it that way. So my uncle James Moore, he had flagged down the state trooper, and he was drunk. Like, we're on the side of the road, like out in the middle of nowhere fishing. He got the state trooper. The state trooper had to go back to the post to get these snips, and they clipped this thing out of my ear. That happened on a Friday. They didn't bring me home to a Sunday. So here it is. I'm out on the fish bank with peroxide and cotton on my ear. And they calling me tell me, oh, you got a piercing now. Like I was hooked up here in the top of my ear. But what he taught me, and he's also the reason why I had a love for Butterfingers. What he taught me is the how family should always be first. Like how you always have to keep family first. And that kind of coincides with Alvin. My dad, now that's with my mom. He's the epitome of a man that family is first. Like when I say this man is dedicated, he would do whatever, whenever, it doesn't matter. Like there were things that he's done for me as his stepson that he didn't ever have to do. And I respect that man immensely. Like I would give him the world if I could. But these are just powerful men that I've been involved with. Now, there's an underlying theme to all of these that I'm going to tell you about, because the next person that impacted my life was Alvin's dad, Alvin Sr. That man, we called him as Paw. Now, he had a nickname for me. He used to call me Feets. He was like, you walking around here with them boats on, we ain't got to worry about a flood. We just jump on your back and you could just float us. And then when I found out his nickname that his family called him Meatball, oh, it was a wrap. Pops was one of those, he was a quiet individual, but when he spoke, he moved you. And I remember one time, me and my wife at the time, we were dating. We were girlfriend and boyfriend, and we've been together. And so like I would call and talk to Pops like maybe once a month or a couple times out the month. And he said to me one time, he said, all right now, he said, what you waiting on? I'm like, what you mean, Pops? He said, nah, I don't want you come calling me crying, telling me that girl and left you because you waiting around. Like, what you scared of? What's the hold up? I'm like, I ain't scared of nothing, Pops. He was like, okay, so what's the problem? He's like, get to it. He's like, all right. He's like, I don't want you calling me crying, talking about that girl and left you, yo shoulda, woulda, coulda, and you'll be living the rest of your life talking about what could have been. That moment forward, that's what kicked the clock in. Let me propose to her. But because at that time I had nobody, no male that would speak to me like that, because all I knew of marriage up until that point is the marriage that my mom had with my stepdad. But the marriage with my biological dad that she had, I don't remember a lot of it because we moved away from Arkansas when I was like 2. So fast forward, Pops put that bug in the air. I finally get married to my wife. And from that day forward, like I've always, even though those family members aren't here anymore, I always try to live my life, even though they're not here. I try to live it up to the abilities that would be appeasing to them. Like not appeasing, but something that would make them proud. So like I'm still trying to please, people that I looked up to. And when I say please, and it's not saying that I'm doing something that's out of the norm. I'm just trying to live a life that I feel like that's right by me and my wife. Because the saying goes, happy wife, happy life.
Yeah.
And I have a happy life. And I would assume my wife is happy. She ain't left me yet. I ain't been crying. So we good. I get a good cooked meal every once in a while. But yeah, I mean, and my mother, man, I just like, I know for her, like it was different times when we were coming up. Cause when she first moved to Michigan, I was probably like 2-3 years old. And I mean, she was a single mom working 2-3 jobs sometimes, while I'm, going to school. And I remember vividly where I would come home. She would go to this place called, not Clean America. It was American Dry Cleanings. So she would go to American Dry Cleanings, would be there like 5:00. At probably about 6:00 in the morning, I had to sleep on the couch in the living room when she would leave. I would sleep on the couch in the living room. So she would call the phone at about 7:30 just to make sure I was up. I got up, washed my face, brushed my teeth, ate a bowl of cereal, put my book bag on, and I go walk to school. I would come home from school. She would already have dinner made. I would put it in the microwave, warm it up, sit down, eat. I would do my homework, go out and play, come back in. Sometimes I'll be asleep when she came in. She would come in, check my homework. If it was wrong, wake me up, go over with. Like I, like years of like just doing that, and like always is gonna hold a special part. And I know a lot of times for her, if she does get a chance to listen to this, it's not the way that she's used to hearing me speak, because I'm real big on I'm not an emotional person. Like, I don't wear my emotions on the sleeve. I like to make sure I let people know that I love them. Like when I'm saying it, it comes from a real place. Like it's not one of those, hey yo, I love you and boo boom boom. No, I love you as an endearment. Like, I really care for you, and I want to see the best in you. And so, like, dude, oh my God, I remember the Buick Century my mom had. I think that was the first car we had when we were in Michigan. Like, it's just so many good memories, like going to the laundromat with her while she's washing clothes and I'm outside with a stick hitting rocks in places I ain't supposed to be doing. But yeah, so that's why, like, with me and her, like, I grew up. And so I knew she was my mom, but she was kind of like a big sister too. Cause like she would talk to me about things, but there's only so many things that a single mom could talk to a male about.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's me in a nutshell though, Kyle. Like, I'm unapologetic. Like, I can't be sorry for something about how I feel. I try not to, if I'm having a bad day, I try not to pass my negative energy off on anybody. And if I see somebody's having a bad day, hey, I'm more likely to be the person that's gonna come up and crack a joke or just say some off the wall comment, because I know back in the day when we worked together, there was many a times when most of my coworkers would be terrified of coming to speak to you.
Yep, you'd always get me out those ruts.
Yeah,
and I appreciate that for sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, so the thing is, what I've always found in life is people are gonna have, you're gonna have your ups and downs, like, and it seems like all anybody wants to remember is your ups and your downs. What about the in between? And that's kind of how I look at marriage. When we took our vows, it said for better and worse. Like, it ain't just the good times. Like, the bad times in the marriage is what's going to set you apart. Like, if you can't make it through who's paying the light bill,
yeah,
don't watch. I'm telling you right now, don't even commit to it. Like, and like I said, I'm just 100%. I'm just thankful because I got blessed, man. Because, like, I don't think in any of my years on this life, I could have found anybody as compatible to me as my wife. Like, she is who I am. Like, the happy days, she's that person. If I'm upset about something, it's probably something that's bothering her that's bothering me.
I mean, that's real talk. No,
Yeah.
I mean, I think, that is, and honestly, that's, that's kind of one of the reasons I definitely want to have you on, man, because I think, when I talk about positive people and influential people, just real people, I think, there has been so many times just being at sprints having like the worst day ever. And it sucks, when you're a manager and, you're trying to put a fake face on, but you're always there to lift people up. And I think I just remember like how many conversations you had with everybody and just getting everybody through their bullshit.
Yeah.
Making people realize, hey, that's nothing. Things could be way worse, but getting people out of that. But
have you noticed over the years, like, me and you can have a conversation and I can say something, you're the only person that's going to laugh. Like, I mean, I know some people that may know you closely. If you say curtains, like, I mean, come on.
There's probably 7 people that would understand that joke.
The closest of Kyle's friends, I know you guys know about the curtains. And I'm not talking about roast beef curtains. I'm talking about curtains.
That would have been cheaper.
Yeah. Oh. yeah. Yeah, it would have been cheaper. From the torch.
I wouldn't have been able to pay that
from
off,
the torch.
That's some Arby's roast beef right there. It's a 2 for
Got
11.
beef.
The torch has the meat.
Oh my God, man. So I wanna say to you, Kyle. Now I know I've said this to you before in private. I just want to tell you deep down inside how proud I am of you, man. I can see the growth. I can see a lot less stress on you. I'm just happy for you overall, bro. Like, to see where you were at, maybe almost 2 years ago to where you're at now. Sometimes in life we go through changes that we may not really necessarily know why we're going through them. But bro, your change has glowed you up. Like, I'm so proud of you. I love to hear about the things that you're doing. I'm so excited for your future, man. I'm not real big on just throwing blanket statements, man, but there's a lot of greatness that you're in the process of achieving that you're going to achieve more of. I've listened to your podcast where you're talking to people that and one of the things that I admire a lot is the friendships, the brotherhoods that you have with all of your friends. I may not know them all by name. I've probably passed them, in passing. I know H. I call him Julio. I know Serge a little bit, but like, just to hear that dynamic that you guys have, and then to be able to have that friendship here years later, that's pretty dope. I'm really, 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 really happy for you in this situation and the endeavors that you're going on now.
Appreciate it, man. I appreciate it, man. And well, good deal, man. Well, again, man, hey, I appreciate you coming. I mean, get to be first guest on season 2.
I mean, if your views aren't high on this, I'm sorry.
Hey, I'll add in some shirtless pics and stuff. Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe I'll go get those dress pants back.
There you go.
Oh, good shit. Well, everybody, hey, thanks for listening to the KQ Show Back in Action Season 2, Episode 1.
Go Blue!
Oh, man.